What are they going to do when and if it turns out that there's some trans ring that knew about this and possibly helped? Honestly, what is the media going to do with that?
They won't talk about it. They're already not talking about it. They're already like downplaying that part of the story.
NPR this morning was like, we may never know the motive.
Yeah, which is what happened to Butler.
No, we know the motive.
Butler.
Yes,
we may never know, so we must just move on. Las Vegas, we may never know, so we must just move on.
They literally wrote it on the bullet casings.
It's crazy. I mean, it is so insane to be talking like that right now. And I mean, like Charlie had enemies on like the disgusting fringe right. And so it was not impossible at some point that could have been the case. And the best thing for everybody to do was to keep their powder dry because we didn't know, although there were already signs that it was heading in this direction. And when you have a conservative who is shot in cold blood in the middle of talking like a conservative on a college campus, there's some pretty obvious assumptions.
And look at the moment he was shot.
Exactly.
That was another tell. He was talking about trans shooters committing violence and causing mass shootings. That's the moment that this particular shooter shot Charlie dead. I mean, like all of this is going to come out, and we are going to figure out whether those tweets in advance of the shooting about something big is going to happen, and then we got him, are in fact more than just random coincidence luck in predicting this event. I mean, look, we all know how this is going to land. There's just no way that many of these trans people tweeting out from these accounts just happened to call it, like just happened to randomly predict Charlie was going to get hurt at this event. Fucking no way. There's no way. And the one thing I want to know is how many other people in the crowd were in on it. You know, already people are super analyzing the video, like, were those hand signals? Did this person distract in order for him to get away? Because you, Mark, and I were discussing in the break, like, how did this guy know that he was going to be able to just get on the rooftop?
Right.
I mean, how did he know that there wasn't going to be a security guard there?
Right.
How did he realize that it would be such easy ingress and egress from this spot?
Or some type of obstruction from that point to the speaker. I mean, who knows if there's like some type of barrier that gets put up, a sign. That is genuinely interesting. And I know I get Boston Bombers 5 days. It took them a really long time. That was a completely botched investigation. But this is a person who was out on the streets for 30 something hours after assassinating a human being in a very crowded area. So there are a lot of questions that still have not been answered. And the sooner we get to those answers, the better, because otherwise people are going to fill in the blanks, and reasonably so in some cases, because these questions just seem like the handful of social media postings. It's not just one. It's not just two.
No.
It's more than that.
Multiple. Go look at that Free Beacon report online. It's heading their website right now. It's got a lot of details, and it's very dark, and it's very believable. I'm sorry, but it is. We looked it up. Just in the past couple of years, we've had 7 mass shootings by trans identified shooters. 7. This is number 7. This guy's not trans, but he's into furry culture, and he's dating a trans person. It counts. And he's written trans messages or furry messages on his bullet casing, so we're good. 7. That's a big number. The left won't tell you that. They'll pretend that it's nothing. They go back from the beginning of shootings and say, percentage-wise, how many is it? That's not the meaningful metric.
Right.
Something has to be done. I mean, we need to be protected. Right now, the law is that you must hire this person, that if you would otherwise hire them. You cannot use their trans identification as a reason not to hire them.
Bostock, Neil Gorsuch.
Thanks a lot, Neil. Yeah. That'll be undone. That's going to be undone.
You think so? Oh, that's
100%. It's going to be undone.
News.
That was written at a time before we had all this, when we were still in the fever state of wokeism, thinking it was just kindness that was, holding us back from recognizing these people. And now we've just seen an explosion of serious mental problems around them. It would be absolute folly to require employers to take these people on. Are you kidding me? Or what about schools? What about a pilot? You want this kind of a person teaching your child? I don't. A furry is somebody who's on the spectrum at all, on the trans. I'm sorry, but I don't.
Well, in that case, and correct me if I'm wrong, but part of it was going back to a funeral home where the employee was dressing as the opposite sex, and the funeral home directors, it was family business, were saying it's making people uncomfortable when they're mourning and grieving, which is such an obvious,
they don't want to be thinking about you.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think there should be a paradigm shift at this point. And we, remember, this is within 2 weeks of the shooter in Minneapolis. Yep. And so there's obviously...
Which has been totally memory hold.
And there's some copycat potential there as well. We know that there's media contagion as it relates to these types of shootings. So, I mean, that seems, again, like a pretty obvious piece of the puzzle here that nobody in the major media outlets is talking about.
Yeah, it's deeply disturbing. I mean, we'll continue to talk about it. The MSNBC, they put out like this there was a corporate letter by NBC, like, we're going to lower the temperature, of course, because it was MSNBC that had Matthew Dowd on right after Charlie died. Yeah. Blaming him.
Oh, he didn't even know if he had died.
Yeah, he didn't know.
He was ready to.
He was just like, whatever, he got shot and he deserved it. And now here's MSNBC misinformation reporter, Brandy Zadrozny.
Oh, yes, she's on the case?
This is on Friday. Listen, here's what she had to say. It's Hot 16.
Again, it's really hard to tell when you look at what he put on these shell casings, allegedly. It's hard to decipher if he really means them, if he's trolling, if he's making fun, if he is trying to set up another ideological enemy for the shooting. It's just impossible to say.
Is it? Because now we've heard from the Utah governor who says specifically he was indoctrinated in left-wing ideology, which his family has backed up. We know he hated Charlie Kirk. And on top of that, he's into furries and he's dating a tranny. So fuck off, Ms. Brandy.
Zadrozny.
I look forward to you updating your report on MSNBC, which will never happen because she doesn't actually care about misinformation.
Megyn, I'm putting my glasses on because I think you are actually doing it wrong. When you are wearing hipster glasses like this, you have to do up talk and be really, really pedantic, because here's the thing. We just don't know that people who are into furries are a little bit weirder than the average person.
Wait, who could possibly know?
I mean, it's just absurd.
Oh, my God.
To say that in public. And by the way, there are all kinds of layers of irony that go into online shitposting and trolling. It is a deeply weird world, but it is not healthy. And that's the black and white distinction that you need to make. It is postmodern bananas, craziness. It is a gateway to insane, like, Marxist ideologies. Yeah. Obviously, many people have gone through that with their children. So to just kind of whitewash it like that is pretty stupid.
Yeah. I mean, this is like, that's one of the big questions we have, which is, how did this happen to him? Like, how did he go from a relatively normal-ish kid? I mean, he did get a full scholarship to Utah State and then dropped out after only one semester. So something happened. We're going to find out what. To me, he seemed like he was on the spectrum in a couple of those videos we saw. He had the perfect grades. He had a nearly perfect ACT score. He was obviously very, very bright. Sometimes you see that, and like severe social deficit can go with that. Not always, but sometimes. And then he got radicalized somehow. Was it through these gamer? Like, we need to know. We got to figure out, was like somehow game culture? Was it the fact that he was into trannies and this guy radicalized him? This guy Twigs, who's now cooperating. I'd cooperate too if they found out that I knew about the shooting prior to the FBI knocking on my door, and now they're here and they've got evidence. I sat on this. Yeah, I'd cooperate too. I'd be begging to save my own ass. I'm sure that's what he's doing.
And it looks like there were posts on Discord after the shooting, which is interesting.
Well, with their friends, where they said, this looks like Tyler.
Right. And it's not the dad. It's not until the dad turns him in.
Yeah. No, the friends didn't actually believe it was Tyler.
Right. But did the roommate / lover think that or know that?
No, that person clearly knew. This is my supposition. I don't know this. That person clearly knew. They had a note. It was on very clearly what the FBI is saying without saying it explicitly was the shooter wrote a note to the roommate that was later destroyed saying, he's coming to town. I have an opportunity to kill him and I'm going to take it. So fuck off, Twigs, because you appear to be the one who received that. That's my guess. But you definitely received the notes about, I have bullet casings. Here's where the gun is. And I don't know whether he was looking for, here he is in his little furry wear. What's his first name, Deb? Lance. Okay. Thank you. But then he changed it to Luna. He started going by Luna. But he clearly received the texts about the bullet casings and the gun after the shooting and where they were. It sounded to me like the shooter was looking for help cleaning up the mess that he left behind. Again, my supposition based on what they have told us, but he did send texts to the roommate. And now they have to be nice to him when there are discussions about him because he's talking. And they'll be nice until he can say nothing more new. And then hopefully he will wind up in cuffs. That's my own prayer.
I mean, I think it's going in that direction pretty clearly right now. And it is almost impossible to conceive of a situation where this person, from what we know right now, had absolutely zero inclination that there was something going wrong. And whether or not that's on one side of the law or the other, it is still a pathetic statement on this human being that they saw another person spiraling and apparently let that happen without realizing, oh, there's a gun involved. I mean, presumably this person knew he had a gun.
There's no way he didn't know. There's no way. In my opinion, he knew. I'll bet he knew in advance. I'll bet he told some of his trans friends, and that's why they were posting online, this is happening. I think there's a much larger group that knew, and the only questions I have is how big was it and who else was in on it? When inflation jumps, when you hear the national debt is over $37 trillion, do you ever think maybe now would be a good time to buy some gold? Well, you'd be right. Whether as a hedge against inflation, peace of mind during global instability, or just for sensible diversification, Birch Gold Group believes every American should own physical gold. And so they created something special. Until September 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 in free metals on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, request an info kit right now. Just text MK to 989898. Plus, Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you're still eligible for a rebate in free metals of up to 10 grand. So make right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate up to $10,000 when you buy before September 30th. Text MK to the number 989898 to claim your eligibility and get your free info kit. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.